Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Final Four, front and center, baby. We got MLB. We got some NBA. We got a lot to get to. Dan, jam-packed Friday show, getting everybody ready for the weekend. What do we got for everybody today?
Yes, sir. Yanni kicking us off. He's going to let us know where are the lines moving. Have they already moved too much for you to take advantage of? Yanni's going to let you know across the sports sphere, obviously, how things have settled in the Final Four, what he's seeing in baseball, what he's seeing in hoops as well. Teddy Covers coming on, and we're doing a rousing edition of Sell Me. I've got a great game for you guys to break down that totally isn't the biggest spread on the board. Is there value to be found? Andy and Teddy will let you know right here. And he's also got a Brewers Royals breakdown for you. So MLB, we got you covered. And one of the best in MLB, the star of Drew's Daily Diamond, Drew Martin, joining the program. He's talking Mets Giants with the bounce back spot for the Mets. And he's also got your other Final Four matchup. That's Michigan and Arizona. So both Final Fours, 2 MLB games. Yanni's going to let you know where sharps are on. No reason not to hit that like button, folks. Let's get into it on another edition of Wager Talk Today.
Did you see the Atlanta Braves flew over their total yesterday, Dan, breaking the streak? So that was that was 6 games. We're going to be monitoring this all season when teams get on these streaks.
Going streaking.
Yeah, we'll see. So all right, let's bring in Gianni and let's talk about some of these numbers here. Gianni, happy Friday. How are you?
Never better. Coming off a nice 3-1 after a 4-1 prior to that. And as I said, after that cold little run, we're now going back up. But please don't jump on board. I don't like those guys that jump on, jump off, look for the hot guy. I like the ones that partner with me long term, where we go through the ups and downs together. And then when December 31st rolls around, we can celebrate we're in that 0.5% that actually turned the profit for betting the last year. So with that said, I have so much to share today. I don't know where you want to go, but I even just now, as you guys were leading in the intro, I just even added the women's NCAA Final Four Steam. We got women's college basketball, men's college basketball, NBA, MLB. If you look at today's Steam sheet, there's 3 NHL, 2 women's college basketball, probably 5 or 6 Final Four stuff. 15 plus MLB and NBA together are 20 plus moves. They're really firing, and a lot of it has been follow through from last night. So a lot of good information there today. If you're handicapping today's board and betting multiple markets, you want to peek on that Steam sheet because it's only 9 a.m. out here, and there's already a ton of actionable info in there.
Well, let's start with college basketball. What are you seeing for us?
All right. I'll get the women's out of the way first. They're looking for both dogs. They took the 8 on South Carolina. I'm not sure if they're going to take the 7.5. But my sharpest book is already at 7 with South Carolina against Connecticut. And they're also looking for better than 2 on UCLA. That hasn't been available yet. The best I've seen is 2 out there. And it's kind of sitting there. Hopefully, if Texas money comes in, it may go up a little higher. We'll see. Now, as far as the men's side, as explained before, no surprise, you expect two-way action when the line moves this late in the season. And here's what we got so far. Started off with Connecticut at plus 2.5 and the under 140.5. So they went Connecticut plus 2.5, under 140.5. But let me pull that up. They also then came back and went over 139 in that total, a different group. So one of my groups, as soon as the line went up, they took the 2.5 on Connecticut and the under 140.5. Same group bet both of those. Different group came in yesterday or the night before and went over 139 in Illinois, Connecticut. Now, Michigan, Arizona, same situation. And no surprise, you're looking at arguably 1A and 1B, depending what you have as your power ratings. So I wasn't surprised to see both sides in different accounts. And what I mean is I have Michigan at a pick'em and I have Arizona at plus 2. Different groups. So it's not manipulation. It's a difference of opinion based on where the value is. And then the total in that game, I haven't seen anything yet, but that's telling because we're starting to get one-sided public money on that over. And usually how I'm able to tell is by what's being tied in earlier in the week. Because most recreational bettors, they're not going to tie up straight bets for Saturday on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But they will parlay what they have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but with what they anticipate to be betting on Saturday. And I'm already seeing NHL money line parlays, Major League Baseball run line parlays, and even like yesterday, Auburn money lined with the over in the Michigan-Arizona game. With that said, at any 158, I saw a couple books go to 158. They got taken out. That tells me there's sharp bettors looking to go under. They're just waiting to see if the public forces the total to go higher. And that lines up with my power rating. I have this game lined at about 154. So I already lean under. But I wasn't surprised to see the line a little jacked, because you're looking at, two high scoring teams with a ton of recency bias. But it'll be interesting to see when the public gets down, because they haven't bet yet. They will be betting late tonight, early tomorrow, where they push this total. And then if we see any big buy order on like under 158 or something like that. But again, a lot of opinions in college basketball this weekend is what we talked about earlier in the week. Don't worry about what the public's on. Obviously pay attention to what the sharps are on, because they move the market. But when we go to tip off, those percentage sites, I promise you, unless they're lying to you, they're going to be very close to 50-50. I'm sure last Saturday after the Elite Eight, then Sunday, when they posted the lines, you were looking at probably 80% on Team A, 80% on Team A in the second Final Four. But slowly, as the week's progressing, you're starting to see that 80% drop to 70%, drop to 65%, drop to 60%, and soon it'll be about that 55% range, which is what you should get when a game's around a pick'em, and both these games are around a coin flip. So I'm telling you, when these games go off, the bookies are going to be sitting in the best position possible. As long as the game don't land one, they'll be fine. So don't worry about what the public's doing. Have your own opinion, and if you have conviction, fire away. I've already bet both sides and both totals, because I did expect there to be some value because of the narrative. Again, the lines are tight, but if you trust your numbers and you see some value, you got to fire. And both sides, both totals lined up based on my power ratings to give us some value. So I've already gotten down myself.
Let's move to MLB. Be careful. There's a lot of weather out there with some games that there's like 3 or 4 games that they just expect to be delayed or even postponed. There's some that they're going to play, but it's going to be pretty windy. There's like 20-mile-an-hour winds left to right. So what are we seeing? I'm assuming there's probably going to be some weather affecting the line movements today.
And no surprise, we got a lot of unders. I'll give you the totals real quick. They bet 906 Atlanta, Arizona, under 9. 930 Toronto White Sox, under 7.5. 918 Miami Yankees, under 8. 922 Cincy, Texas, under 8.5. Couple signs for you: San Francisco plus 120, Colorado plus 180, Arizona plus 115, and Pittsburgh plus 115, and the Angels plus 145. So a lot of plus money, no surprise. One of the favorites that they do like, they laid some chalk, laid 220, laid 230 on the overnights on the LA Dodgers, who continue to cash tickets for bettors. So that's some of the baseball action. Like I said, we got a lot of movement on the screen and a lot of legit positions as we head into the weekend.
Looking to see if there's anything that we can go over for UFC, but I just do not see anything. The only thing that happened is some money came in on Melissa Gatto. Clearly, we moved the lines, Gianni.
Yeah, absolutely. And
clearly the movement is because of what we said.
We joke about it, but again, it's comforting when you see that happen with any of the bets you placed, and then the market follows suit. I mean, sometimes I do think we do affect some things, but other times I think it's just having a sharp opinion and having not bet yet, but then other sharp bettors having that same opinion and they fire. And you're like, wait, damn, I should have got down too. So yeah, that happens a lot. And again, if you're a plus EV guy like yourself, that's going to happen. where you have an opinion and all of a sudden the line moves towards your favor, because most sharp bettors, we all think along the same lines.
Real quick. I'll go over what bad weather games we're talking about. So early games, it's going to be windy. Cardinals at Tigers. That's the 20-mile-an-hour game that's blowing right to left. Partly cloudy, 10-mile-an-hour winds. Padres Red Sox. That's not too bad. Rays Twins. That one, 50% chance of rain. Brewers Royals, 77% chance of rain. That one's probably going to be the big one. So those are the games that we're talking about. Just Phillies Rockies, very windy, 20-mile-an-hour winds left to right. So very, very windy. You'll get some, fly balls, catching up in the wind. So those are the ones we're talking about. So let's see, anything that you saw in UFC specifically. I see Moicano's taking money.
I wasn't surprised. I think most thought along those lines that, again, whether he wins this fight or not, at plus 165, that was just way too good to pass up. That's an inefficient price. And the market where it sits right now supports that. I was a little bit surprised to see the Jandiroba money come in yesterday. I really thought that Ricci would get the cash, because even though, Jandiroba obviously is impressive, only has one loss in her last 6 fights, it's the fact that she just fought for the title and came up short. And Ricci, is coming off a nice knockout win against Hebas. I expected to see the other way around, like Ricci to go off the favorite, not the dog. So that's a little bit surprising. I'm not sure if, there's any kind of information on weight cut issues or training or something. But I was a little bit surprised, because even sharps that I spoke to were all leaning Ricci. And all of a sudden you see the Jandiroba money come in. Interesting to wait till on Saturday if we see late money come in on Ricci. Like, is this manipulation to get her plus money? I don't know. Because like I said, most sharps that I spoke to leaned the Ricci side, like me and you both did. So it's a little surprising to see the Jandiroba money.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I always say if there's anything major after weigh-ins, like that's when you'll find out if there's a bad weight cut, an injury, or something weird going on. So anything strange in NBA that you're seeing, or is it pretty much the usual?
Yeah, mostly the same in NBA. I don't think we went over that, right? I'll give you a couple. Damn, I got a bunch of Steam plays there. So I'll give over a couple sides for you and a few totals. 549 Atlanta minus 16, 555 Toronto minus 12, 557 Boston minus 15.5. Now, you see that a lot in the NBA as we go towards the end of the season. They get out ahead on these big favorites. And then later in the day, a lot of times you see them then come in and take the plus money, because it moves 2, 3, 4 points. And again, once you get over those minus 7, 8, 9s, that's where there's a ton of variance. And what's the correct line? Like, what's the difference between plus 15 and plus 16? Like, there's a big difference between plus 2 and plus 3. Points matter a lot when they're lesser. But when you're talking about should a team be a 16-point favorite or 17-point favorite, that's really hard, a lot more difficult to quantify. I think so. Couple totals for you: 552 under 238 Knicks Chicago, 555 over 231.5 Toronto Memphis, 557 under 218.5 Boston Milwaukee, and 560 Orlando Dallas over 236. So a lot of moves already in NBA, in Major League Baseball, and even in the small NHL board, where they bet the Flyers at plus 130 and the under, and they also took out the 6.5s under in St. Louis and Anaheim.
All right, big weekend. What do you got up for everybody?
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, today I have a sports memo afternoon play. We're 8-1-1 on the last 10. Got to keep that streak going. So I have a 4% going. It's an afternoon baseball play. $7 over at Sports Memo. The Steam sheet's up with a ton of info, including Final Four. I have my Final Four package up, both sides, both totals, with a 5% best bet. And the UFC package is up with multiple 4% as well. I'm actually taping a UFC show today for next Saturday's numbered card. So, a busy couple days ahead. And hopefully you jump on board and we do some damage. Steam room tomorrow, like usual, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk Final Four and prep and cover all the different markets and go over results as well. So Best of luck to everyone. Hope you do some damage over the Final Four.
Thanks, Gianni. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Andy, it's worth mentioning too, the people who hop in the Steam room. Obviously, long-term clients of VR, automatically you get the link sent to you. It's super easy. But we just had, while we were live here, Brian hopped on. He became a WagerTalk insider. Nice low price point. You see it on your YouTube page there. It says, join community. Anyone who is an insider gets access to this edition of the Steam room. So tomorrow, Gianni going to be getting you late breaking news with all the sports that are going on. Obviously, if there's anything in Final Four, he'll get you ready for UFC. But if you are a WagerTalk insider, boom, you're going to have access to that. So shout out to those who already are, and shout out to those that will become. But you can check it out right there. It's right on your YouTube page, or you can head to wt.buzz/insiders. But all insiders, all Gianni's clients, that's who's rocking in the Steam room tomorrow. But Andy, today, what do we have rocking for the folks? It is a huge lacrosse weekend. I told you I have 5 plays that we're trying to dial in here. We'll give away the other ones free at Newbie Talks, but we're gonna have a couple client plays. I think maybe 2, maybe 3 client plays for lacrosse action tomorrow. But what do we got rocking tonight? wt.buzz/AL.
Well, we got a 4% boxing play that it's in a different time zone. It starts in a few hours. I'm going to give that out on All Around the World, but we're going to have a big boxing play that goes off tomorrow. We also have our first ever 5% cricket play that goes tomorrow morning. So that's kind of the big thing that we're planning on. We've got props as well. I've got NBA. We've got MLB. NBA props just continued to cash. We had a horrible day yesterday, by the way. Yesterday was just brutal. We were due for a really bad one off day. We hadn't had one in a long time. Yesterday was it, but the lone winner, NBA. These NBA props just keep cashing. 7-1. That was baseball, Dan. You did.
No, I was doing like the hey, here we go. I guess I could shoot a little more. It was more like the patting of the back, the rah kind of bullshit. You're right. I could have been, my pantomime could have been better. My pantomime skills are at an all-time low, Andy. That's very good.
So we got a really good NBA prop that will go off tonight. So excited about that. I went to the NIT games with Adam Trigger last night. He's in town for Monday, and he did warn me about what it's like going to a basketball game with him. It's a trip, man. So he does these videos of the stadium, and he's like, we're going to get there like an hour early, and we walk every inch of that damn stadium. Like, I mean, everything. But we're not filming. He's scouting it out. So before, we're just like walking around and around every inch, and he's like, okay, I got a good lay of the land. And then we go and we get our seats, and he's like, by the way, we don't sit in the same place for like more than 5 minutes. So
he just has to move nonstop. Trigger's a weird dude, man. Trigger's a weird dude.
And when he walks with purpose. Like he's
I know.
flying.
Yeah, no, it's true. I went and I saw it was the Army Navy game that was in Philly, and I went with him to that game. And he was like, we were out in our seats for all of 5 minminutes, and he's like, let's go inside the club. Let's go. And I'm like, Trig, just breathe, buddy. But hey, if you need some Trig energy in your life, each and every morning, Total Base is 9 a.m. Subscribe, and you'll know when they go live. But get some weird Trig energy in your life. Everybody needs a little bit of that.
It was great. We had a blast. That was his 100th college basketball venue. He had never been to Hinkle Fieldhouse, and it was just like, it was like a home. It was a home run. It was like easily in his top 3. And Hinkle Fieldhouse it's just iconic. It's such a great experience. So it was a great time. I hope we get to meet up this weekend. So, but yeah, it was. I got my steps in last night, Dan. There is no doubt about that. I got all my steps and then some. So let's bring in Teddy Covers. We got to talk about some things. And I want to get your thoughts about what's going on as we approach the playoffs. But those damn Lakers, man, just when you think they got it figured out. It's a little bit of a deeper question, though. When that Luka trade happened, I was wondering, is Dallas worried that this guy's just not durable enough when it comes playoff time? And here we go again. He's hurt again. And how effective is he going to be even if he plays in here? Like, is this just a short-term thing, or is this just becoming a real thing with him?
So 2 things. First, your experience with Trig last night reminds me a little bit of my first year in Vegas. Well, my first year in Vegas, I wanted to see every casino, didn't matter where it was. I was going to the casinos. I was walking all around, scoping it out, checking it out, and getting my steps in, night out. But after I'd done it 100 times, I wasn't, that level of energy wasn't there for the 101st, so to see Trigg still having that, energy is impressive. When it comes to the Lakers, on the one hand, you say you don't want to overreact. On the other hand, it sure felt like their season ended last night. It felt like it ended before halftime. With OKC saying, "All right, you guys have a nice little run. This is who the real team is." And you don't want to overreact to one regular season game. And certainly the Lakers, with the experience level that they have, they're capable of rebounding off a shoddy showing. That said, the Thunder are no joke. The Spurs are no joke. And Reeves got hurt last night, and Luka got hurt last night. And the Luka injury, again, I haven't seen this morning what the status was. Didn't look good, obviously, going off the court. And when your superstars get hurt in the playoffs, you know what you do? You go home. Just ask Boston from last year, or Indiana, or anybody else whose star got hurt throughout the course of the campaign. Throughout the course of the playoffs, once your stars go, bye-bye. We'll see you next year. And we'll see what the injury report is for Luka. I don't think the Reeves injury was serious, but it's not a good sign for LA.
Yeah. I'm also really confused by this Detroit Pistons team. I don't know. What do you do with a team like this? So the number 1 seed, Cade, is supposed to come back, but it's a collapsed lung. Like, I don't know what he's going to be like if or when he comes back. And this is like the number 1 seed. It almost feels like Boston's the scariest team in the East right now. I guess, are you just in a hold pattern, or do you have strong opinions about the East?
Okay, seeding is irrelevant. Let's get that very clear. When it comes to the postseason, the players don't care, the coaches don't care, and my power ratings don't care. Yeah, Boston's 4 or 5 points better than Detroit right now without Cunningham. Absolutely. That said, you talked about what there was, this approach, the last couple of weeks of the regular season. And I'd like to just, the Pistons to me this year are almost like the Lions. When you remember that Dan Campbell speech when he got hired by the Lions, said, we're going to be biting kneecaps. We're the toughest team out there. That's what Detroit has been all year. The toughest team, the team that cares the most about the regular season. And it hasn't mattered when they're superstars. They've faced injuries, a handful of injuries throughout the course of the campaign. Even with Cunningham out, they've been a severely undervalued commodity. If you're betting on the Pistons, you're making money. Game in, game out, week in, week out, all year long. Detroit has been a value-laden team, not because they're power rated necessarily wrong, but because the energy and attention to detail has been there game in, game out in a way that it isn't there for some of the more veteran teams in the league.
Yeah, I always appreciate your takes on NBA. I think this playoffs is going to be fascinating. This could be one of the good ones. We were talking about what do you think is? I asked you this yesterday. What's the craziest NBA story this year? Kawhi Leonard being paid millions of dollars from a made-up landscaping company, or the Trailblazers head coach working with the mafia on rigged illegal poker games?
Yes.
It's like if you gave them a movie script, they would be like, "This is ridiculous." No one's going to believe. Of course,
so if you like NBA analysis, Ski's got a great show every day. I'm doing this 10-minute podcast every day. It's called Teddy's Tips, and it's in and out. I try to give as much info as I can. There's not a ton of hype. It's just me, just like this for 10 minutes where I'm talking NBA. Check it out, Teddy's Tips. Subscribe to WagerTalk TV. What do we got? 250,000 now? Close to it.
Yep,
and you can install when they go live. But I'm doing it every day. Should be posted today, approximately 2 p.m. Eastern time.
All right. Well, let's go to college basketball. Want to get your take on this Illinois UConn game. What's your take?
Well, look at the odds logic live odds screen right now. I'm seeing Illinois holding as 2-point favorites. There are some 1.5s out there at the recreational books. Total 139.5. That's holding as well. Haven't seen a whole lot of movement on this game since the opener off the initial moves when it first opened. My gut reaction here is to look at the under because there's no pace whatsoever between these two teams. I'm not expecting fast break points for either side. We're talking about number 296 in adjusted tempo versus number 324 in adjusted tempo. And both teams went over the total in their first round games. Remember, Illinois hung 105 on Penn. They're 3-0 to the under since. So that first round over has left value the other way and has kind of eliminated that betting bandwagon for overs. UConn flew over by 20 plus points against Furman in the first round. 2-1 to the under since. The only over came when they rallied against Duke. So they cashed an over in their last game, which again, when you talk about bandwagons in the tournament, where, you know, when you cash it on in your first tourney and you're cashing on your most recent tourney, you don't have any under or an over, I should say, in the first tournament game, and you're over in the most recent tournament game. There's no sentiment for the under when it comes to all this, you know, public betting. You know, they played this year. These two teams this season, 74-61, stayed under the total by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They played in 2024 in March. What happened? Game stayed under the total by 3 touchdowns. Illinois 61 and 52 points in those ball games. So something's pretty clear when you look at those results to me, and that's the correlation between side and total. I think UConn correlates with under. I think Illinois correlates with over. Illinois is supposed to be hunting mismatches in this ball game, and that's what their offense has been able to do all season long. They've been able to put the biscuit in the basket even against opposing quality foes. So if Illinois is going to win and cover this game, if you like the Illini, maybe look at the over. That said, UConn, what have they done? You know, what do we know about this Huskies team? What do we know about the mentality and Dan Hurley's mentality? You know, they're another biting kneecaps type of team. Certainly from a defensive standpoint, don't see a whole lot of fast break points in this one. And if UConn plays their game, this game's as slow as molasses, and Illinois doesn't have a whole lot of open look. So I do think the Illini correlate with the under. For what it's worth, I think that the Illinois side is the side I'm looking at. My clients are as well.
I like it. Teddy covers. You always put the biscuit in the basket, Teddy. Let's go here, man. And it's funny. You mentioned Teddy's tips. You get the NBA breakdowns here. Great college basketball breakdown there. The clients have been rocking with you, but it is MLB season. And don't forget about Teddy covers when the diamond is in play. I think it's like a 70% run, something like that, Teddy, that you've been on here in MLB action. So yes, the year is young, but you finished last year strong. Let's start this one off strong as well and get your thoughts here. Brewers and Royals, Teddy. I'm wondering for you, I was listening to Total Bases this morning. Brian Leonard had an opinion on this game, a great breakdown. He was also warning people, hey, make sure you're checking the weather in this game. Is that how you kind of give a little pause in this one? And as far as it's concerned, I mean, juice a little bit the way towards the Milwaukee side, but essentially when this one opened, we're talking pick 'em. So a close game with ugly potential weather, Teddy. What do you think about this one?
Sure. And when certainly the MLB for my clients and I have been good. I got hot down the stretch last September. I was real hot in the postseason. I think I had won 10 in a row at one point or 9 in a row in the postseason. And we come out of the gate in 2026 winning as well. So profitable start to this season, profitable close to last season, 70% run heading into Friday's action. I'm in play an early start action today. If you want my baseball, don't sleep in. It does first pitch go this morning, an afternoon delight. We talk about the Brewers and the Royals. The first thing we got to talk about, as you mentioned, Dan, is that weather forecast. And it certainly has impacted the line in this game. Looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen right now for Milwaukee and Kansas City. Look at the over money pouring in on this game. We're sitting at 8.5 last night at the open, and now we're seeing 9. Lots of juice to the over. 9 over minus 15, even over minus 20 at some books. We've also seen money coming for Kansas City. The forecast tonight, they expect rain, and the wind will be blowing out to left center. It is a strong wind at Kaufman, which is not necessarily a hitter-friendly park, but when the wind's blowing out, that's certainly a different story. When it comes to early season baseball, I'm not a guy that focuses on starting pitching. I really don't. You know, you can make an argument that Patrick, who was, a top rookie for Milwaukee last year, is bet on. You can make an argument that Avila is bet on for KC. I tend to expect, once we have a track record for a pitcher over the course of this season, I get more interest in starting pitching. But early in the season, you get what you get. And I believe the markets effectively price what the starting pitching is supposed to be. So I focus my early season approach, a lot of lineups, a lot of bullpens. And we look at these two teams right now. Look, the Brewers are 5-0 when they score more than 2 runs, and they're 1-1 when they allow more than 2 runs. They've been hitting the cover off the ball. Their pitching's been dynamite. They had a great homestand. They faced 2 sub-500 teams, Tampa and the White Sox. Then they had a day off, now hitting the highway for the first time. The Royals, talk about Milwaukee, when they score more than 2, they're 5-0. The Royals are 3-0 when they score more than 2 runs, and 1-3 when they allow more than 2 runs. So, both these teams have been able to win the games where their offense has done anything. Now, KC did have a rough start in Atlanta. They had a 9th inning meltdown. The 2-0 game turned into a 6-2 final. They still won the finale and then took 2 out of 3 against Minnesota, another sub-500 team. So stepping up in class here. I do worry about that Royals bullpen. We saw issues in Atlanta. We saw issues again in the finale of their just concluded series against Minnesota. And the Brewers have come out of the gate hitting. That is certainly a concern. Milwaukee, 7.5 runs per contest right now. 45 total runs, tied with Houston, most in the majors. And of course, this lineup had 806 runs scored last year. That was 3rd best in the majors. We trust Milwaukee to hit. The wind's blowing out. I understand. Lots of money on the over already. Wouldn't argue with an overplay. Wouldn't argue with a Brewers play. We'll go with the wise guy money on the total and against the wise guy money on the side.
A double breakdown there by Teddy Covers. And yes, skyrockets are in flight. Go grab the afternoon delight, Teddy, over at WT.buzz/TC. All right, guys, I say let's stay. You talked about Kansas City Royals, Milwaukee Brewers. Well, it's sell me time, gentlemen. And those who are tuning in here on the program, whether you're watching live or on the rewatch, hit that like button. We appreciate it. But it's your chance to win a free 3-day flex pass right now. I'm going to give a side to these gentlemen, and they are going to have to break it down in NBA action. Whether they like it or not, they have to make a case for it. And then whoever makes the emboldened plea, if you agree with them, you comment below. You write Teddy or Andy, depending on their side. Include your WagerTalk username, and boom, that's your chance to win a free 3-day flex pass. So let's do it, gentlemen. There's a lot of great games in the association tonight, but none greater than the largest spread on the board. Yep. You knew it was coming here. I was seeing there's a 15.5, there's a 14.5. Hell no. We're talking 17.5 with Andy, your surprise team of the year. We wanted to fade him heading into the year, and then Tatum comes back. Wasn't like they really needed him back all that bad. They've only gone to the next level since he's returned. 17.5 on the road against the listless Milwaukee Bucks. Well, they surprised you, Andy. You're going to have to tell me why you're laying 17.5 with them. Celtics, sell me that NBA side, Andy.
Oh, so I get the Celtics. Okay.
You get the Celtics.
I get the Celtics. All right. I would like to stress, we don't know what side we're getting until Dan tells us. So I just found out.
They found out when you found out. Yeah. So let me know. 17.5, Andy. Lay it, baby.
I have to tell you guys, I was talking to a good friend of the show, and he was like, you guys are actually, he's like, my bone to pick with you is you're too good at sell me. It's like convinced me to make bets on these. So that's the caveat is we did not go into this. Okay, well, all right, I'll make the case. Well, the Bucks, they're no good. Their recent win is just over Dallas, and you look, and they're kind of getting hammered by some of these playoff teams. They lost big to the Clippers. That's a 14-point game. Clippers don't blow many teams out. San Antonio is a team that blows teams out of the water, and they did just that. That was a 32-point win. They also lost to 31 to Portland, and you look at Boston. Only recent losses that Boston has is to non-playoff teams. So we have a pretty good feeling they're going to win. And they just came off a thumping of the Miami Heat. That is an 18-point win over a Miami Heat team that should be much better than this Milwaukee Bucks team. And then they're sitting people. Ryan Rollins is probable. Gary Trent is questionable. And I look over at the Boston team. The one thing that would worry me is anybody sitting out? And no, Boston has their full complement of team. They have to get ready for the playoffs. Tatum is looking better and better and better. He's getting more and more inside. I will tell you, I've got a free play coming up for Jason Tatum over his rebounds. He's feeling more and more comfortable getting around the feet of other players. So you're seeing inside Jason Tatum. And you look at some of these other wins that they have. I mean, they beat Charlotte, who's a really good team, by 15 points. They beat OKC by 10. And this is a Boston team that has big-time aspirations. They have all the momentum in the world. The Milwaukee Bucks know that this is a lost season. It might be a lost few seasons for a while. They have no energy. They have no offense. They have no defense. It's just bad times for Milwaukee. So don't be surprised if an alt line of 20 gets covered in this one. So absolutely, Boston is going to drop the hammer.
Lay it, says Andy Lang, whether he wants to or not. I like Lino commenting. I'm shocked you gave Andy the good team for a change. Andy is usually the one who is forced to let me know why he's betting on a dog. Teddy's the one, if I'm playing, I'm laying. So, Teddy, I guess the tagline will be, don't be forsaken. Teddy is taking, because you must break down the Milwaukee Bucks side of the equation, my friend. Good luck.
Oh, the Milwaukee Bucks side, it is easy. A clear choice for Milwaukee. In
clear choice.
So let's start. There are two key factors here. Really, there's five, but there's two key factors. One, look at Boston laying doubles in recent weeks. They laid 10.5 to Minnesota. Oh, they lost that game outright. They laid 15.5 to Memphis. Lucky to win by 5. They laid 20.5 to Washington. Another game where they never sniffed a point spread cover. When you want to talk about teams in their roles, Boston minus double digits, that's not the Celtics' role. It isn't. Factor number 2, and this is the big piece of the equation. No one pays any attention to teams like Milwaukee, which is why when you watch and you read and you pay attention to late season NBA, it's beatable. What happened last game? I mean, the Bucks. I'm not saying that the effort's been there game in, game out from Milwaukee, because it hasn't. They've had some. Heck, the last time these two teams met, the Bucks were full strength, and the Celtics didn't have Tatum or Brown. And Boston won by 27. But last couple of games, it's 3 straight covers for Milwaukee. They talked about beating Dallas. They beat Dallas, but last time out against Houston, where they were plus 19 and only lost by 6. That's worth noting, because they were down to 7 players in that ballgame after Gary Trent Jr. got hurt in that contest. And it was really as G League roster as you'll find in the league right now. That's not going to be the case tonight. Kuzma's off the injured list. Turner's off the injured list. Rollins probable. So this crappy team that's given good effort sometimes is getting some bodies back in the lineup this evening against a Boston team that just does, the Celtics will win this game by 10. They'll win it by 12. They'll win it by 14. 17.5, a little bit too rich for this better.
There we go. The side has been sold. And I love this comment from Brian. Brian, if you're a new viewer, we appreciate the new view. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. The point of Sell Me is I give these guys a disgusting ass game and they have to sell you on a side. Is he leading the public astray? No, he's being forced to break down the Bucks plus 17.5. If you agree with Teddy leading the public astray there, comment below with Teddy covers and include your WagerTalk username. If you think Andy's the right side, lay the 17.5 with the Celtics. Don't be led astray, and comment below with your WagerTalk username. So, Teddy, always a pleasure, and that's how Sell Me works, folks. You're entered in to win a free 3-day flex pass. Teddy, you got your afternoon delight play, so folks, go grab that now. You also have a play up in the big dance. Folks can get all the action for the weekend, plus whether they buy 3, get 3 days for free. Tell them about that at wt.buzz/TC on the way out, brother.
Yeah, don't buy plays. I don't buy plays. Look at me. I'm a tout, and I say don't buy plays. You want to get on board, get a package. We got to buy 3 days, get 3 free. Right now, that's a really good deal. My full NBA season through Game 7 of the finals, that includes everything for the regular season, $1.99. 2 good deals right now on my homepage, wt.buzz/TC, so we can partner up over the course of the next week or over the course of the next 2+ months. Cheers.
And folks, check out Teddy's tips on the channel, live NBA breakdowns on the daily. If you're subscribed, you're going to know when it goes live. Check him out over there and follow him at Teddy_covers. You got to love when I'm forcing you to break down a side, someone's going to be upset, Andy. It's the nature of the beast.
So comment below and make sure you include your wager talk name. And my favorite part about that segment is like Teddy having to make the case for his side and being like, Kyle Kuzma's back.
Kyle Kuzma,
Miles Turner
the Kuz. That's what Sell Me's all about. It's a fun segment here on the Friday. Head you into the weekend with your chance to win something for free, guys. It's a fun game we play each and every week. NFL season, they do it for NFL sides as well. It's a fun time. So I'm sure we'll have some MLB action coming in the summer months with Teddy covers as well. Drew Martin's coming on, but first, Andy, why don't you take them all around the world because you have some early day plays as well.
Yeah, I want to get these plays out for everyone watching live and who's watching it pretty early. So that is the wrong one.
What the hell?
Dan.
How does this always happen? Yeah, Ohtani. He's on the diamond, Andy. Here we go.
Yeah, he's not pitching, but
let's try this again, Andy.
I'm keeping my eye. I'm going to take Ohtani over the outs next time.
Yeah, that's a good play. How about this one? The boxing match that's going today, Andy. There you go.
Okay, so on FanDuel, they have Brown versus Ducar over 4.5 rounds. This is a 4% play for us. I'll just read you the write-up from the boxing department. Pat Brown, exciting prospect, clearly the more talented fighter. This is a big step up in terms of durability and experience. Ducar is one of those classic tough outs, a guy who knows how to survive. He's gone the distance with high-level opposition, all operating a significantly higher level than where Brown is right now. Brown has power, will be looking to make a statement, but breaking someone down with Ducar's toughness isn't straightforward. Ducar knows how to manage distance, absorb pressure, and extend fights. Even if Brown doesn't get the stoppage, it's far more likely to come later once the accumulation builds up. So, and that's like 4 p.m. Eastern time. So kind of an odd start time. So we'll go to the NBA, Mavericks and Magic, Tristan da Silva over 8.5 points. This one seems way too low. 9+ points in 7 straight games. He's playing 23 minutes. And if this game is a blowout, he is probably getting extra minutes in the fourth quarter. He's taking 9 shot attempts. He's making 4 of them. He's adding 3 free throws in 5 straight games. So Tristan da Silva over 8.5 points. And Nationals and Dodgers, I like Mikolas to go over 14.5 outs. He pitches exactly 15. Like exactly. He lands on 15, 7 out of the last 8 games going back to last season. They just leave him in. Your pitch count doesn't matter. You're just going 5. And the Dodgers, they're not really shelling pitchers. And this is on the road for them. This is not at home. This is a road game for the Dodgers. So I expect Mikolas to have a pretty decent outing here and get to 14 and get over 14.5 outs. Get to that magic 15 number. So
love it.
All right. That's your all around the world. Let's bring in Drew Martin. Drew, I wish everyone could see how chill you were waiting to come on. You were just like,
That's Drew Martin, baby. That's the Drew Martin vibes. Come on, that's just Drew, baby.
We need to do it, Dan. We need to do our power ratings for people waiting to come on. Like Drew's just like chilling, just
Marco. There's the Marco scowl, and then there's the debonair Drew. Just like, hey boys, I'm ready to give some freaking winners. Let's get to it, baby. How we doing, Drew?
I'm doing good, boys. Happy Friday to both of you. It is a good Friday here, and ready to break down some sports. And you're talking about just chilling. I mean, part of me is listening to the show, part of me is in the chat, but nobody was responding to me. So then I was just kind of recapping my notes and ready to get down on some MLB and Final Four action. But always good to be on with you boys. And to tell you the truth, as I'm listening to the show, there was some good stuff in there. I mean, walking around the stadium with Adam Trigger, that's entertaining stuff. I mean, I get it. You know, you want to see these new stadiums, but then again, you kind of want to chill and have a beer and just enjoy the game. So depends what angle you want to go at it from, Andy.
It's an interesting question. Where's the Auburn hat after a big Auburn win?
It's baseball season, baby. Baseball season.
All right.
You know what? That's another thing we need to talk about. I mean, you go on these Auburn message boards and there is just chirping for nothing. I mean, this is more Alabama fans going, "Oh, NIT, what are you? You missed out, last team out. Oh, poor Auburn guys." So I don't know whether to root for them or just to get ready for next year. And hey, first place Marlins, so I thought I'd rock it.
Yeah, while you can. Wear that lid while you can, Drew.
Well, so Illinois State was a pretty popular pick, and Trig and I were sitting there, and Charles Barkley and Bruce Pearl show up, and they're just shaking hands and taking pictures with everybody, and then they sit at half court, like with their own table, with their own security roped off, and the game starts, and you're just like, oh, these Auburn players are putting on a show. You could just feel it. It was like, oh my God, they were just getting every loose ball, every rebound. They couldn't miss a shot. Yeah, you could just feel that. It's like stuff you just can't put in the handicap. Like, how are we supposed to know that was going to be? Barkley's wearing this big purple, like it just sticks out. Bruce Pearl's just cheesing it up with everybody. It was just, you could just feel the vibe.
Oh yeah, man. I love that. And to a handicap, particularly with like a secondary tournament, stuff like that matters. I mean, I would want that in my back pocket. You know, that's almost worth grabbing your phone, getting a little live bet. I mean, Charles Barkley, he is royalty in Auburn, Alabama. I went to Sky Bar. They proclaim to be the biggest bar in the SEC, which I'm not sure. I mean, Nashville's technically in the SEC, but I went to this bar after a football win. Charles Barkley is there. Me and some friends walk up to the bar. It is open bar. Charles Barkley paid for the entire bar for a couple hours. That man is an awesome guy. I've talked to him a couple times. I am a big fan of Charles Barkley.
That's awesome. It must have been a parlay. Well, Drew, let me get your thoughts here on the Final Four. You get Michigan, Arizona. Big one here. It's basically straight pick 'em here. I guess there's technically a 1.5 line up there.
But you're playing money line in this game, probably.
Yeah, right, and actually, there was one flats out there. I don't have the odd screen live in front of me, but obviously, if you're looking to go with Michigan, that half a point could be big if it comes down to 1 point. I'll tell you this, guys. I think it's an interesting kind of dichotomy. I don't remember this in the Final Four very often, anyway. To tell you the truth, I don't remember it at all, at least in recent times, where the two teams playing, Arizona and Michigan, are the two favorites to win the national championship. You know, the odds makers, the betting public are telling us the winner of this game is heavily favored in the national championship, to the point where Illinois would be the next team at near plus 400. Just something to throw out there if you're looking to bet the national champion. I actually like Big Blue in this one, guys. I like Michigan at -1 is what I got them at. And, you know, it comes down to the way they were able to cruise through the NCAA tournament. Now, I know Arizona won their games by double digits as well. I think that Purdue Boilermakers game was a little bit closer than the box score, though. That was within 7 in the second half. I mean, Michigan's absolutely cruised, 95-62 against the Tennessee Volunteers their last time out. And I go to the free throw percentages, heavily favored here towards Michigan since 2026, pretty much in Big Ten conference play. They've hit 80% from the free throw line. And in close games like this against two good teams, I want the team that can knock down the shots from the charity stripe. And lastly, I've talked about this on a couple shows, the round of 64, the Sweet 16, the Final Four. It's a little bit different handicap in terms of you get extra preparation time into the game rather than the round of 32, the Elite Eight and the national championship. It's just 1 day off. Therefore, in my handicap, I go to more coaching. I love Dusty May. I'm talking from South Florida right now, what he was able to do at FAU, bringing it here to Michigan. I think the coaching advantage is actually on Michigan's side. All of that pointing towards the Wolverines for me. I got down on -1, but like Dan said, you know, -1.5 money line. I think it's Michigan heading to the national championship, guys.
Love it, Drew. WT.buzz/DM is where you can check out Drew's plays. Drew, before we talk a little baseball, and unfortunately, I mean, if you want to talk Marlins, we'll give you some time at the end to wax poetic. I think they might have a tough chance here with the Yankees here. But before that, Drew, let them know what you're rocking with this weekend. We got some great specials going that can get you a litany of sports in action this weekend and beyond.
Sure, absolutely. Locked and loaded here on the UConn-Illinois game, the first game up in the Final Four, Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern. So got a 5% a side I really like. And then baseball rolling along well, just off of a 2-0 day yesterday, up for the season, 15-5 end of last year. So baseball has been really rolling along. Got the show going, Drew's Daily Diamond, daily right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. The show's actually on a good run too. So that means the long list. Seeing it well out the gate. I love betting early season baseball, by the way. So you can jump on board. If you're looking to save money short term, that 3-day. Buy 3 days, you get 3 days free. Try it out. You'll get college basketball and Major League Baseball. So a great time to jump on board there. And then if you're more interested in long-term, if you're a football bettor as well, it will carry you all the way through what college basketball national championship Final Four next year, the 1 year all access with the discounts. So either of those two, I would tell you to probably look that way if you're looking to save some money. And yeah, it's been a great run. I mean, 22-11 now in baseball. So ready to rock. And the big plays have been really good too. 4% and higher. I've been cashing it over a 63% mark for the last 6 months. So yeah, long term, trying to stack them up, Dan. But yeah, it's been a good roll.
Yeah, and we have Gianni who drops gold. Drew drops diamonds on the channel on the daily. So check him out. Drew's Daily Diamond. You're subscribed. You're going to get that notification so you know when it's live. All right, let's talk the diamond here, Drew. Mets and Giants. Mets looking for the bounce back, man. That was rough last night. Taking on San Francisco, 7-2, the final in that one. They were favorites. And they're back to favorites again. Yes, you know, the Mets coming into this series, definitely some folks in this 4-game set looking to cash in on them, but didn't even have a chance last night. You think it'll be a little bit different here tonight in San Francisco, Drew?
I do. They're up against Tyler Mahle. He's you know, I would say like a middling MLB pitcher. That's how I would handicap him. Now it's early in the season. Could he have a great start? Maybe. He's probably not going to go too deep into the game. I go more off of the Giants until the game you're talking about yesterday. This lineup was ranking, you know, bottom 5 in most offensive statistics in Major League Baseball. And they're obviously playing in a pitcher's ballpark here at night. This is the nightcap, the last game on the card, the get back special, the degenerate special. So I would kind of pump the brakes on betting an over here. The ball usually doesn't travel that well. They're in San Francisco. If you're looking for something in this, and this is not a best bet for me, Dan, but Nolan McLean, the 24-year-old out of Oklahoma State, he had a pretty good start in his first go against the Pirates, went 5 innings, just giving up 2 earned runs. But even more importantly, he was missing bats. He had 8 strikeouts. He's a guy I'm actually looking to bet at minus 130. You can get it a little bit lower than that if you shop around. If you're needing something in this game, not a best bet for me, but I would look towards the Metropolitans.
I love it, Drew. All right, Drew, first place in the National League East, your Marlins. How can they – it's like that Breaking Bad meme where Jesse's like screaming, they can't keep getting away with this. They're playing the Yankees today. I know this wasn't on the slate for you, but thoughts about early season Marlins. Are we excited? Are we just living in the moment? How long can this last when they're beating team 10-0? You know, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, you want the glass half full or the glass half empty? I'll give you the glass half empty first.
I like it.
The Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies for the first 2 series. So it's not exactly murderer's row here. Definitely something to keep you or to keep Marlins fans. You know, I am one of 750 of us down here in South Florida. It's something to keep in mind before we get too happy. But no, I think it's a good scrappy team. I really did. And it's not only because of this 5-1 start. I thought it going into the season, the way they finished last year. You know, you go back the last 100 games of MLB wrapping around to last season. I believe they are the best team in baseball or tied with the Dodgers. They're right there. So that shows you, you know, they didn't quit on the season last year. Again, it's a young team. They obviously don't spend much money. They're scrappy on the offensive side, and they're pitching. I mean, you get Sandy Alcantara, Yuri Perez, 1-2, not to mention Max Meyer right behind them. If they're able to make the playoffs, and that is a big if, that is not a team I would want to play, because they'd be able to stack their starters against you. And if you want to go historically, you know, over full season MLB baseball, the Marlins have only made the playoffs twice since 1993, full season here. I'm not counting 2020. And they won the World Series both times. So if that matters at all, this is a team that doesn't lose many postseason series. So if they're able to get there, and again, it is a big if. But hey, as it's running right now as a Marlins fan, it's been a long time since we've had some good baseball in South Florida. A lot of people talking about how nobody shows up. But the fact is that South Florida is a bandwagon fan base. Outside of the Dolphins, they don't show up either for the Heat. They don't show up for the Panthers. Now, the Panthers have been so good for many, many years that people forget about that. But outside of the Dolphins, South Florida fans aren't going to show up for much. It's just the way it is.
Well, Drew, I love it. I know you got a lot on your plate, man, so we appreciate you filling in for Marco D'Angelo. We love getting you on here, man. So whenever we get to chat with you next on Wager Talk Today, we'll do a little Marlins update. But, Drew, best of luck. Make it 22-11 on your MLB run, and we'll see you next time, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely, Dan. Good talking with you. Good seeing you, Dandy. And have a fun weekend, guys. Cash those tickets.
Thanks, brother.
All right. I'll go over some of the baseball stats before we get out of here. Braves, I think they scored 17 runs just by themselves. Yesterday. So that streak came to an end. If you're looking,
if anyone had any team total unders in that one, yeah.
Hey, at least you don't have to sweat it out. Athletics, Rockies, and Royals are 5-1 to the under. White Sox and Rays 5-1 to the over on the game totals, and we'll check the run lines. Give you guys some info on that if it helps. Phillies, White Sox, and Red Sox are all 1-5 on the run line, and your best teams are still the Rockies, Brewers, Yankees, and the Nationals. 5-1 on those. So.
Yeah, and,
all right.
And Andy, two teams, you bring up those trends just to mention the Phillies are opening a set in Colorado today. So one of the worst teams against the spread playing one of the best teams against the spread. Does that continue or does it break a little bit here? 4-10 first pitch, and they got a 3-game set there. So just if you're looking to extrapolate that, there's a head-to-head on one of the hotter teams, one of the least teams. Does that come back to the middle? We'll get to recap it on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, 4% boxing best bet is up, 5% cricket play is up. Dan's going to start putting in lacrosse plays. The 3-day pass is still the home run. By 3 days, get 3 free. So looking for a really, really nice bounce back after a miserable day yesterday, but things are already off to a really good start today. Golf and cricket plays looking good. So buy 3, get 3 free. It's over at my page, wt.buzz/AL. It's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys on Monday, same time at same place. Good luck on your